is Chevron. I graduated from construction management 2 years ago, 2023 of December. Currently, I'm working as a contract administrator for a tier three commercial builder based in Richmond. Um, what I can say about my experience back in uni, especially in the research practice 1 and 2, I always remember that starting RP1 or research practice 1 as is always the first 2 to 3 weeks as the most hardest part of the whole unit, because that's when I panic if I will be able to create a research question, what kind of interest I'm really in. I'm not, most of you or as myself, I wasn't able to know what interests I really like in construction. And most of the time, our professor in the class will give you some examples of previous research, how we could construct our research question. That was the experience that I cannot remember. I cannot forget because I heard it's almost like whatever you hear from the class is saying it's about recycling, it's about renewable energy, it's all about a lot of topics, but so many in your head. But what you can do is always listen, take some ideas, how the teachers or the professors are giving you some examples, but you can see, okay, I'm currently interested in the finance or the cost of the project, and then you start thinking about the topics. Not sometimes you just don't have to think about only the finance. You could combine with another topic. Sometimes having one or two topics can form you a bigger idea, of much broader, or much very succinct but very close to your topic. So I remember that was the hardest part. Once you get the research question, first 2 to 3 weeks in your course, always go to class. I always advise to everyone, from week 1 to week 12, be present, go to the class, because who knows, your research teacher will be able to hear you out, and you could express, okay, this is what my topic, and they're more than happy to help you. And that was my key advice is go to class. And I always remember having every week I have something new to bring to the teacher to check. I always have something to for him or her to read, to have it, to give some input, so I could take home and, okay, this thing I could do. It feels really good every time you finish the RP1 class or RP2 class. You get something and write it down, put in the paper what it was discussed to you. It really helps a lot. Um, I always remember a good tip when I tell my friends who was just starting RP1 and I was in RP2 is always get your template or your Word document started on week 1. Just put in the title. It could be, put your research question there, and always start having a file name saying research practice 1. It gives you the mentality to give you something like, okay, I got something started, even though it's pretty blank, but it's a good mentality that you already have the file ready. You brainstorm, you put links there, you put your research, a topic that you could put it there. Any potential research should be basing it off at any resources, you can paste it there and always go back every day. It really helps. And I always remember when I finished RP1, RP2, especially RP2, felt so good. I never skipped a class, even though I was like 4 or 5, or even just 2 of us in the class with the teacher. It's really good. You have something to show. You always have a progress with you. Bring it up, print it off. Better to print it off because easier for you to show it to your teacher. They're more than happy to have a look at it. Obviously, not the whole. When you're when you're research practice too, you obviously have so many pages. At least the new things you could bring, that really made me feel so proud. I was able to, from week one of week 12 of RP1 to RP2, week 1 to week 12, all the 24 weeks, I never missed a class. And it felt so good that I was able to complete even to the week 11 or 12, 11 or week 10, you have mostly 95% done. So always believe that doing research gives you a how you judge what you see in the internet. Not just by looking at the credibility, people, everyone knows the credibility, but having to dig deeper from the first answer you see, it gives you a critical thinking, like that answer could not be just that answer. You could go deeper in, you could seek much more deeper to that answer. And it teaches you that skills and how you could find it over Google. You could easily tell if that answer is not really relevant or not even credible from just studying in this course. It gives you that sense of yeah, that kind of exposure to learn more or deeper of the answer that you seek. For example, like when I was working in construction, there's some methodology in construction that we're not used to. Like for example, doing some operable wall, operable door. We need to find some information that could help us be able to build up the requirements. So using Google as a tool, you would be able to straight away what you have learned in RP1, RP2, you would know how you could dig deeper. Googling just say how to build this wall. You give you so many questions, answers, but some answers that are not really relevant. But having been exposed to research and going to the relevant sources, going to the peer-reviewed articles, it really helped you. You can present to your boss that, oh, here's the answer. This is not just some .org answer. This is a research, an expert who are member of this glazing company that was able to give you that answer. So it was really presentable and really professional to provide some answers to your managers that, oh, they're gonna, yeah, it's really helpful. Skills and knowledge are vast. When I finished the RP1, RP2, I remember I think I was able to further enhance my critical thinking and also the perseverance of finding the answer. You cannot stop at having the first page answer. You might as well dig deeper. And like what I said, mentioned before, you would know how to use the keywords to find some answers. And research does give you more, uh, yeah, critical thinking, perseverance in finding the what you really require to have. Um, yeah, that's about it. It's my experience in RP1, RP2. I do find research is very helpful because you're not doing research when you go to work, but getting that process, thinking, critical thinking, having to explain how you find the answer when you go to work. You cannot just say, this is the answer. Here you go. You have to explain how you find the answer. You have to find, is this really the answer? Or could there be underlying more further answer that relates to that? And you could assess and you could observe, you could finally tell that to your boss or to your manager that this is the best answer we could find. I have searched the credibility and I have seen that the past few other companies or other builders or architects have used this kind of method that we could use. And